Hello everyone. So today we will study about précis writing. Let's go to its definition first. A précis, a French word pronounced as précis. So it is not pronounced as précis. It is pronounced as précis. As a summary, and précis writing is summarizing or giving the substance or main ideas of a passage in a brief and intelligible form. So précis is a summary or a substance, but its size is brief. It is small in size and it is an intelligible form. That means it carries only the main ideas. Only the main ideas and brief in size in comparison to substance or a main summary. Okay. So précis reduces thoughts and ideas to the barest essentials and expresses them with the utmost precision in the fewest possible words. So it carries the main idea and express that idea in the fewest possible words. That is what brief. Okay, so it carries the main idea in a few words. So you cannot write a précis, a very long one. In a précis writing, it is not enough to write concisely or to pick out the main facts of a manuscript or a document. The facts are to be arranged in their logical order in a continuous narrative. So you have to read the given summary or given paragraph or the passage, and then you have to pick out the main facts, the main points from that paragraph, and you have to arrange them in their logical order. Okay, a précis must help the reader in gathering quickly and easily the meaning without any reference to the original. When you write a précis, so when we write a précis and when a reader read that particular précis, he or she might get the idea of the main passage without even reading the main passage. Okay, every précis must have a heading. Heading means a title, like we write a title, right, while we write a story. So in story writing also we write a title. So that means in the same way in précis also you have to give a title, a heading. It is to be given at the top of the précis and it will tell the reader at a glance what is the subject of the narrative, and the title or the heading should be in such a way that it should give an idea about the subject matter of the précis or about the subject matter of that given paragraph or passage. Okay, so passages are of three kinds. So like you will be given passages of which you have to write the précis. So those passages are of three kinds. Descriptive, that means those paragraphs which describes places, scenes or objects. Narrative, that those paragraph or passage which tells a story or an event. Reflective, that contains reflections on some virtues, like abstract things like death, kindness of God. If the passage or if the writer speaks about death, kindness of God in the given passage or paragraph, that passage is reflective. Okay, so these three kinds of passages you will get to write a précis. Now how to proceed means the rules. Rule number 1, first read the passage carefully but not too slowly to understand its subject. So first you have to know the subject of the passage or the paragraph, whether it's narrative, descriptive or reflective. You have to read it and find it out. Number B, second, reread the passage several times to understand what is said about the subject matter. So the second one is subject matter. So you have to read the passage and you have to find out the subject matter, what the passage or the paragraph is talking about, whether it's the kindness of God, whether it's a story, whether it's relating to a place or scene or object, what it is actually, you have to find it out, the subject matter. This is the second. Third, Note down the main points in your own words, paying special attention to the principal clauses of complex sentences. Though the third point is main points. So you have to find it out, the main points, what the author or the writer wants to speak about. Then express in brief what is said on each such point. So after finding out the main points, you have to find the briefing of those points. You have to write in brief about those points in the final copy. Okay, but there should be a connection of each sentences. It's always better to follow the order of the points in the original. In the passage or in the paragraph, the way the sentences are put in order, you have to follow that. That is better. It is not mandatory, it is not essential, but it is better to follow the order of the points like the original paragraph. Okay. Add nothing of your own, make no comment, correct no facts. So while writing a précis, you cannot add anything from your own. No words, no idioms, no similes. And you cannot make any comment from your own, and you cannot correct any fact, whatever is there in the summary or in the paragraph or the passage. Okay, you cannot add anything from your own. The précis should usually be written in the indirect speech. So indirect speech, you cannot write in direct narration. The précis should always be written in indirect narration, that is indirect speech. Avoid exclamation, interrogation and figurative language. Exclamation. You cannot write any exclamatory sentences in a précis. You cannot write any interrogative sentence in a précis. You cannot add any figurative language, simile, idioms, metaphors, those things you cannot add. So you have to avoid these three things. Omit mere repetition. You cannot repeat. One sentence you have written, one meaning you have already dropped, you cannot repeat that. Okay? There's a certain few examples. Next is the précis of a passage containing some advice to young man and woman should always be put in the third or the first person, such as man or boys should, children should. So you have to write it in the third person. We should. Okay, even though the main summary, the main paragraph is talking in second person, but you have to convert it into third person or the first person, like we should, children should, men should, boys should, like that. Okay, let's go to the next rule, the 10th rule. When the original passage is in the first person, change the first person into third by either giving the name of the author or the narrator. So how, like in the 9th point we studied that you have to change the second person into third or first, but how? So while changing, you can use the name of the author or the narrator. If the name of the author is there in the passage or the paragraph, you can write it. If it's not there, you can write the narrator. Here the narrator wants to say something like that. Okay, so you can change that into the narrator, the author, the poet. Let's go to the 11th rule. The précis should be of the length prescribed, but a few words more or less do not matter. Where the limit of words or lines is not given, the length may be anything between a third and a half of the original. This is a very, very important point. Although there is not mentioned about the length, but and the main thing, a few words more or less do not matter. So you can add a few words, or a few words can be lesser, that is okay. But the limit of the words or lines is not given. The length may be anything between a third and half of the original. Whatever paragraph you get, so the précis should be a third and a half of that original paragraph. Okay. The finished précis should be a piece of good modern English prose, clear and simple. This is the main word, simple. It should be simple. That means the words which you use in the Precis should be simple words that can be understood by everyone. So that by reading the Precis, we can make out the main meaning of the given summary or the paragraph.